It looks dark. Ooh. Hello, JT. Okay, Carmen. If y'all can hear and or see me, answer it. Not on speaker.
Hello?
1 second, you guys.
Hello? Yes. Bye.
What did she say?
Have y'all started?
Why is it playing music?
I don't know.
That was weird. That's weird. It starts music. Okay, you guys, come on in. Give me just 1 second. I gotta go fix Carmen upstairs, and y'all can chat with Joe for the duration.
Chat with me. This ain't my vlog.
But you can talk to the people. You can tell them about your experience at Popeyes. Y'all will be in for a treat. Tell them, babe. Tell them about your ghost pepper. You're going to get feedback on the live. You can tell them about your experience at Popeyes. Y'all will be in for a treat. Tell them, babe. Tell them about your ghost pepper.
Hey man, what it do, what the business is. You already know what I do, so you already know what the business is. But yeah, as Jessica was saying, so I go to the Popeyes, right? I go to Popeyes after a long day of working. Oh, I'm sorry. After a long day of working, I said, I'm gonna go ahead and shoot by Popeyes. And the wife, they want 8-time wings, so I should give them 8-time wings. I go on Popeyes, right? All I ordered was the new ghost pepper wings. I wanted to try those. And chicken sandwich. Gotta get chicken sandwich. So I'm in the line for 30 minutes. 4 cars ahead of me. Excuse me. 4 cars ahead of me. And so the lady gets there. Well, I get to the lady. And I'm already a little bit upset because I've been waiting 30 minutes just for some chicken. So I carry my bojangling behind up there in the front. And she said, can you pull up to the white line? I'm like, God damn, I ordered my food 30 minutes ago. I got to still pull up. It's crazy.
Keep going. Oh, you're fine.
It's crazy. But,
hey, Harrison Family Vlogs. Hey,
so,
Miss Lady 83.
You done with the shout outs?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm talking and you just, hey, such and such.
Because I didn't know if you told them, hey.
No, I don't. I didn't check.
Let me go ahead and eat my chicken.
So I pull up to the white line, right? So I'm there another, and you know what's frustrating? I know y'all probably went through it, but it's frustrating when you up on the white line and you start seeing cars that order already before you start pulling to the right and leaving. I'm like, hold on now, you done cook they chicken, and all I asked for was some ghost pepper wings that y'all supposed to have in stock because it's the thing right now. The ghost pepper wings, which y'all advertising, so y'all should have them on deck, right? Oh, side note, when I went to the front of the window, dude said they had 2 ghost pepper wings. They gonna have to drop some more wings. How you have 2 ghost pepper wings? 2. Your combo is for the 6, the 12, and the 24 pieces.
Maybe they dropped some.
With 2, if you know you down to 2, you should be like, if you down by 24, you know if somebody can order 24, so you should have an abundance of ghost pepper wings. I don't get that. But anyway, other than that,
hey Mom,
I pulls up or whatever, and the lady comes out after another 10 to 15 minutes, after I see all these cars going by. She gives me the ghost pepper wings, right? Where is the chicken sandwich? Oh, I have that out for you in another minute. Once again, I wait another 10 minutes for a plain chicken sandwich. Plain. You just get out the grease, put it on the bread, and put it in the little sack thing, and I'll be on my way. Nah. So she comes out with 2 chicken sandwiches. So she said, "Oh, I'm sorry for your wait." Okay. I said, "Well, before you go, let me go ahead and check these." I opened up my chicken sandwiches, smothered in mayonnaise.
Meanwhile, Joe doesn't like condiments.
It was so smothered in mayonnaise. If you was to bite this chicken sandwich, the meat probably slide down your throat. That's how much mayo.
I was about to say something, but that's so inappropriate.
You so nasty, man. So nasty, yo. Anyway, so much mayo. I said all I wanted was a plain chicken sandwich and a buffalo chicken sandwich. That's all I wanted. She said, "Okay, you know what? You can just have those. Those are on the house." So again, I have to wait another 10 minutes for a plain chicken sandwich and a buffalo chicken sandwich. So she finally comes out with the 2, and she was like, "Okay, I have your order, right?" I said, I had in my combo comes with Cajun fries.
Mind you, I'm on the phone with all of this, dying laughing.
Where's my Cajun fries, man? Don't y'all have a? I'm sorry if you work in a fast food restaurant. I have never worked in a fast food restaurant, so if y'all
neither one of us,
and if either of you all have worked there, I'm pretty sure it's a screen that tells you the order, right? Or you come on the receipt. For some reason, Popeyes didn't even give me a receipt. All right, but
if you don't get a receipt, you get a free something on your next meal.
I didn't even care. I didn't even care about the receipt at this point. I've been waiting in line for 45 minutes for some ghost pepper wings and 2 chicken sandwiches.
Meanwhile, all I wanted was to see my husband and some A-Town wings. That's it. Fries cold.
So she finally comes out with the order, says she apologized. So I guess the good thing about it, I do got 2 free chicken sandwiches.
That ain't nobody gonna eat because I don't eat that.
Smothered in mayo. So I guess I just have to scrape all the mayo off and pat it with a paper towel so I can get all that stuff off it up. And maybe, I don't know, maybe Leah and Carmen eat it. I gotta eat some of it because I just don't feel right not eating nothing of it. But, oh, how do y'all feel about the chicken sandwiches? I didn't eat it. I ain't gonna lie, I ate it. Chicken sandwich is good. Chicken sandwich is good. I give them that. It is good.
I don't like the chicken sandwich. I think it just tastes like chicken breast on bread.
No, it's a little season to it for the classic. It's a little season to it.
So apparently that's what grinds your gears.
That will grind my gears today. I don't mind being held up, but the whole point is you got a receipt of what I ordered. 30 minutes ago, I ordered the food 30 minutes ago because I was in the line for 30 minutes. So who's ever in there should be looking at the monitor or whatever, the order saying, okay, we got 4 people in line. They ordered the ghost pepper wings, so let's go ahead and drop those now. It's like, who is the quarterback in there? Who's quarterbacking? What's going on? It don't seem like nobody had a sense of urgency, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just being picky or whatever. But yeah, that's my story for today. Popeyes. I'm gonna be going to that Popeyes again.
Clearly, I told him don't. Why would you even go to that Popeyes? But that's neither here nor there. If you are here, welcome to Weekends with the Wells. Is it Wells's? Wells? Weekends with the Wells. That is where on the second Saturday of every month at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you get to spend time with me, Jess, and Joseph, or Joe, or
Joseph.
Show Off. reviews.
But, you know.
I had to tag you, shameless plug. Anyways, where you get to spend time with us, then we talk about different marriage issues, marriage topics, pretty much just a virtual date night since we are all, like you're trying to like get fresh, since we are since we are all technically kind of still quarantined in the house type thing. Hey, in Rachel's place. So we have a few topics. Also, me and in Rachel's place, Rachel, we both hit our 1K like a day apart.
That's
so she's like my 1K sister. And so if you don't know, I have officially hit my 1K. And so now I am working on my 4,000 watch hours. So if you feel led in the spirit to run my binge watch, I think it's like just binge watch. It's like 18 hours worth of all of my content. And so if you feel led to run that playlist, I would greatly appreciate it so I can be even closer to monetization. Also, do the same thing for everybody else that's in this chat, just because we're all family here. So, yeah. And so, like I said, we're having some topics that we're going to discuss. And as you heard, Joe and his whole rant about Popeyes. With all that being said, I'm pretty much just getting my food. Yeah. So this is like real life, folks. So anyway, so Joe told you what grinds his gears. What grinds my gears is if you are, I don't think I posted this on my Instagram, but Joe and I had, really, babe? Joe and I had the most dumbest debate, and I'm going to leave this here, and y'all let me know in the comments which one you are for. So, Joe always complains because I put ketchup in the refrigerator. The ketchup bottle clearly says refrigerate after opening. Joe feels as if the ketchup should be left out on the counter. Comment in the chat, which one are you for? Pro fridge or pro counter? Drop it. Because right now, I'm pretty much leading this argument on Facebook.
I don't know if you're leading.
But I am.
It was a lot of folk on Facebook talking about they leave it out too.
No.
I just don't understand why you put it in the refrigerator.
Because it says refrigerate after opening.
Okay.
That's what you're supposed to do.
So you're gonna eat cold ketchup?
Yeah. I've been doing that my whole life. Unless it's fresh out of the, like, if we're at a cookout and somebody brings out the ketchup, other than that, no.
Okay. So you mess with this ketchup, right?
Yeah, because it's from the store.
All right, but it's open.
But it's in a packet.
What does that matter?
Because it doesn't say on this particular one to refrigerate. These are meant to not be refrigerated.
I don't get it.
That's a bottle. This is the condensed version.
Okay, but I'm saying you should, when you go to a steakhouse, they had the ketchup just on the table.
And it's probably old because then they probably have taken more ketchup and filled up that said ketchup bottle. So now you have old ketchup and new ketchup mixed all together.
Right, but you still eat it.
And then I think about it, and then it repulses me.
Room temperature ketchup, and you eat it all day long. But when it comes to your house,
I don't eat it all day long.
Every time you have fries?
Very few and far between because I prefer a baked potato.
All I'm saying is, most places you go to, the ketchup is already out. You hardly ever get any ketchup cold because they're refrigerated at a restaurant.
So Rachel said that she puts hers. She says she puts it in the fridge, but if her family is over, then she'll take it out. So, okay, Rachel, you're a half a point. And then Mom says that she puts it in the fridge. And then Miss Lady 83 says my husband and I had the same fight in the beginning of our marriage. I'm out of the fridge. My husband is in the fridge for ketchup. So we're tied. Well, technically, I'm winning because mom's in the fridge.
Your mom doesn't count.
But she does.
No, she doesn't.
She does in this.
She's an extension of you. She does not.
She raised me, so technically she set the tone. So I think I'm still winning. So yeah, so that has been, I think that happened, what, Wednesday? So we're still tallying the fridge versus counter ratio. Mom said, oh, yes, I do. How about that? So yeah, so basically those are the two things that grind our gears. Now we can get into our topics, which now I have to go through my text messages. My mom texts me talking about how y'all started. I can't. My mom is so cute. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 topics that we are going to discuss tonight. On our last live, we discussed the myths of marriage and our thought processes on that. And so tonight I had someone, well, maybe 2 people reach out to me about different topics that we should discuss. And so the first topic is dating with kids. Now, if y'all have any topics or anything that y'all want to discuss, or if y'all want to powwow, we can definitely do that. I kind of feel like I need to bring this closer so I can like tap the button. 1 second, you guys. I'm going to move you closer. There we go. Yay. Can you push the button?
Push the end button?
No, not the end button. So like when it's a comment, you just push it there.
Oh, okay.
Not the end thing. You know, what you call it?
Ended
the love. Okay, hold on. Y'all, I'm sure I gotta sit on this pillow. I almost died. Okay.
So silly, man.
I almost fell flat back. Okay, you guys. So now we have you closer. So can y'all see us? Can y'all hear us? All of the things. Are we clear? I guess I should have asked that like maybe 17 minutes ago when we started this live. Okay, so topic number 1, like I said, is dating with kids. And they want both of our point of views. So if you don't know, when Joe and I first started dating, I already had a baby. And so Leah was a year old when we started dating. So I'm going to let you give your perspective and your point of view of dating with kids. And then I will give my point of view on that topic, or what advice you would give, you know.
Okay, dating with kids. It's purely a preference. Before me and the young lady here.
Young lady?
I was anti-kids, like for real. Like I said, the Lord, the Most High, is not going to bless me with a woman with kids because, not that it's a knock against women who have kids and that's out there dating or whatever. It's just I didn't want to receive or create a bond with the child, and then the mother was tripping, and then we in, but the child's still looking for myself, So that's kind of I was like anti-woman with kids. Before that, I was dating another young lady who had kids, but she was hood. Super, well, I don't want to say super hood, but she was hood, and me and her son was real cool. Like he had a dad was in his life and everything, all that good stuff. But I don't know if he just liked my, I want to say swag, but just my overall personality around him because, I played with his toys with him and stuff like that. Anyway, long story short, me and the mama didn't work out, but when we didn't work out, she used to, in order to try to, because I never cheated on any woman that I dated with or girlfriend or anything like that. I never cheated. So like once I was through, I'm through pretty much. You know, that's it. The end is the end. But she used to, in order to try to get back with me, she used to use the child, be like, oh, such and such wants you to come over. You know, he wants to see you again and stuff like that. But they was just kind of trying to lure me back.
Did you go back?
So I went back a couple of times, but the last time I went, I told her son the reason why I had to leave. He probably won't see me again or whatever. But I didn't break it down to like, you're not gonna ever see me again. But the little boy, he kind of understood. So
have you seen him since?
Mm-mm.
So you've never seen him? Have you seen her?
I seen her one time with her mama in Sam's. That's how long ago that was. That was at Congress. Yeah, Sam's.
Were we dating?
He was pursuing.
No, we weren't. It was no pursuing. It was.
Yes, it was pursuing. But yeah, like I said, all preference. So it's just pretty much up to you if you want to date somebody with kids. It's not a knock or anything. It's just it is what it is. It also shows you the true colors of the mother or the single father, how they treat their kids, and is that something how you would treat the kids? Because I know in a relationship with her, I was like, how did she discipline Leah? Because how I was brought up, you get whoopings and stuff like that. When I heard her say time out, time out, go to the wall, what? I pray my mama would tell me the time out. I pray my mama would tell me the time out. No, it wasn't no timing out. It was, come get this leather to the behind.
Hit them. Leah has it to hand it back to us. Okay, sorry, y'all.
All right, but yeah, what about yourself?
All right, so I will say this. I will say dating with a child is hard. One, because I think it's more, I'm going to say from a mom's perspective, because I don't know what it is to be a single father, and I've never dated I haven't dated, after Leah's dad and I broke up, I didn't date anybody else but Joe. So that's that. But with all of that being said, I initially, before we started dating, felt like, not shame, but I felt like, oh my God, I have a baby. No one's gonna want to even, want to be with me. No one's gonna want to take on this responsibility. Like, I had pretty much made up in my mind, like, I'm gonna be single for the rest of my life. Like, I really thought, okay, I got a baby. I'm just gonna be like that typical mom that y'all, not the typical mom, but the moms that you see that literally devote all of their time and energy to that child. And then once that child has grown up, then you're like, okay, now I can start the next part of my life type thing. Because I was like, okay, I'm not going to, devote any time to anybody, which I didn't for a whole year. And then I met Joe. But also dating while having a child, to me, was hard because I had to find a new balance. Because it was just me and Leah. Then it was, okay, me, Leah, and Joe. And trying to make sure that I gave him that attention, plus gave Leah the attention, but know that we're a package deal because we just are. Not that Joe ever said, oh, I'm only gonna date you. I'm not worried about Leah. That wasn't the case. But it was hard because I was also in school too at the time. So I was in college, plus working 2 jobs, then new relationships, still trying to figure out the mom thing. So it was hard, but Joe you didn't make it hard. You made it easy for me to actually be open and for me to have Leah around, because Joe didn't meet Leah until we had been talking for like 6 months. But after he met Leah, like that was it. Just because I wasn't sure if I wanted him to even be around Leah, because I didn't want her to get attached and then we break up. So I will say I had a lot of like, not mom shame, but well, I guess not even mom guilt. I don't know. It just, I guess I felt like I was being judged. There we go. I felt like society was judging me because, oh, here you are, a mom, like not married, and you're in a whole nother relationship. And then I felt the need to where, for the longest time, we didn't go anywhere with Leah because I didn't want to have to explain, oh, he's not Leah's dad, or, you know, her calling, what did Leah call you before she started calling you Papa Joe?
No, that's the first thing she said, Papa Joe.
Nuh-uh.
I don't remember anything else she called me before that.
Yeah. So Leah started calling Joe Papa Joe first, I guess. I feel like maybe she did just call you Papa Joe, because I never remember her calling you like Joe or Mr. Joe or Uncle Joe.
Papa Joe. Other than that, she would just say, hey, hi.
Yeah. Hi. Because you know Leah used to whisper.
That's it.
Hey, Mr. Man. Hey, Karen. Hey, Kenyatta girl. So if you're just coming in, we are talking about, so we have 4 topics that we're talking about tonight. The first topic is dating with kids, like how it was for us to be dating, and I had a baby. And I guess too, like I was nervous with having Leah around your family because I didn't know how they would receive her. I didn't know how they would receive me. Like, oh, she's this cheap floozy with a whole baby. She's trying to take my son. And I kind of felt like, hey, I didn't even want Leah to get attached to your family initially because I didn't know how well received she would have been, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But how did you feel when we first went out, like as a family, like before we were even, because we weren't dating. We were dating by my standards. Somebody said we were pursuing each other.
Yeah.
We were dating. To me, we were exclusive because I haven't dated anybody but your little tater head behind. So how did it feel when we first went out, like as a family, pre-family? How did you feel? Were you nervous? Did you feel like people were going to ask you questions?
No, I wasn't nervous.
Oh, hold on. Kenyatta, you are not late, girl. You are totally fine. Hey, Vernell. She said, hey, everybody's society don't take care of your bills, so let them say what they want to say when they talk and start paying. That's right. Joe tells me that all the time. Like, I need to stop focusing on what everybody else has to say and just do it, because no matter what, nobody's going to be happy with that anyways. Hey, just my opinions. And Kenyatta said, I was so nervous when hubby and I started dating because it was her and her crew doing it all by herself. Yes, that's how I was too. And not like cutting you off or whatever. I also felt like I had to let Joe know, kind of like, okay, you here, but I got this. Like, you're not here to do nothing. Like, I could do it on my own. And I know that came across, like, in my mannerisms and like how I acted with you for a hot minute. Cause it's like, okay, I'm a single mom. Just cause you here, but you ain't gotta be here. Like, I could do it on my own type thing. Did you get that vibe from me?
No, not really.
No, you didn't?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that's Teresa.
Like I said, I dated a girl with kids before, so it wasn't too far off on how you're acting towards me, and
So you didn't feel like I was treating you that way?
No.
So how did you feel when we went out for the first time as a couple?
First time we went out, I don't know if it was the first time, but I know one of the times. Let me tell y'all. One of the times when I went out to the mall, right? Went to the mall.
Oh my God. Okay, so wait, hold on. Before Joe tells this story, y'all, I want y'all to know this. Leah and Carmen are both spoiled by their mama. They spoiled by Joe, but I'm a pushover. So literally, if the girls fart, I'm like, what you need? Mommy's gonna get it. You don't even have to ask. So I'm pretty sure this story is about to be about something I done gave into Leah, or me trying to just put her towards the wall. And I also don't spank the girls. Let me just add that. Joe doesn't even spank the girls, so he can just hush. But I believe in timeout.
You didn't even let me finish my story.
I gotta cover the bases.
You try to put a disclaimer out there before I even said it.
I gotta cover the bases.
You are already swaying the audience on what I was going to say.
I just gotta give them the backstory. I believe in putting them in timeouts or having conversations. I feel like, and if you spank your child, that's fine. I got spankings. It's okay. But I just feel like for me, spanking is a sign of frustration. And I don't want the kids to think.
It ain't black behind. No, don't get mommy frustrated. Period. That's what it is.
No, just my opinion. Not yet. It's on my list, girl. But yeah, so just give me a little disclaimer. I'm not anti-spanking, but I just think that's a sign of frustration. Continue on.
All right.
Oh, hey, Team 706. Okay, go babe.
We was at the mall. That's the mall, right? So
it was about to be so foolish then.
No, not really. So, we was dating, and
were we dating or pursuing?
We was dating at this time.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, we was dating, and so we're walking in JCPenney. And
JCPenney, my store, y'all.
Leah did not want to walk anymore, right? And we just got there. She didn't want to walk. So she threw a whole tantrum in the middle of JCPenney.
Don't do my baby like that.
Now, why throwing this tantrum in JCPenney? Embarrassing.
And to me,
it
even phase me.
Embarrassing because she acted like her legs didn't work. She was flayed.
Leah will fall out.
She was flayed all over the floor in the middle of the mall. And I'm like, to me, I don't know her that well, but to me, in my mind was like, oh Lord, she about to die. Because if I did that in front of my mama, my legs wouldn't be working. You understand? They wouldn't. I'd be in the hospital putting those Forrest Gump things on my knees.
Really, babe?
I don't know what they call. But anyway, braces.
You really gonna put your mom out on live like that? Your mom's gonna watch this.
No, what I'm saying is, if I was to go out like that, Miss Wells is about to lay up the smack it down on me. But when she threw that tantrum, I was like, oh man, she about to die. But Jessica was just like, what are you doing? Get up, get up, get up. What are you doing?
That's
what
how
are
I
you
sound.
doing? Yeah. What are you doing? I'm like, in my head, I'm like, if you don't get your child and beat her, I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you better get your behind up. Don't be embarrassing me in this mall. So that took me back like, man, see, that's why I don't date women with kids. That's why I don't date women with kids, because of stuff like that. So I felt that she was spoiling her, and I was like, my upbringing was a little different. Like, stuff like that didn't really happen in our household. We always seen it happen.
Have said, oh no, ma'am or sir, maybe it's the military upbringing or my grandparents. I would have never done that, and my crew know not to do that too.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the thing. You're so stupid. Okay, so this is the thing. With Leah, now I will say with Leah and Carmen, I did things different. With Leah, I felt like since her dad was not in the picture 100%, yeah, oh, excuse me, not in the picture, I felt like I had to overcompensate for a lot of things, i.e., overcompensated for her birthdays. Like, it was nothing. And y'all, my mom is in the chat, so she can attest. It was nothing for me to drop $1,000 plus for Leah's birthday. Like, just on the party. Nothing for me to drop that. And Joe knows, like, parties for Leah would be, we would have a jumping bean, we would have a character, we would have face painting, we would have a spread. And if y'all don't know my family, I was about to say, if y'all know me, but the people that are in this area that knows me, if they have come to a party that we throw, even our wedding, like, you gonna come and it's a whole thing. So I felt like with Leah, I had to overcompensate, and I didn't want that single mom stigma. Now, I will say this. Leah never cut the fool with anybody else outside of me. She cut the fool with me. When she goes with my parents, she wouldn't cut the fool with my parents. So I felt like, or with my grandparents, which are her great grandparents, but I felt like with me, let that be a safe space. You could fall out with me. You could act the fool with me, because I could nip it in the bud. But I knew when she went off with people, she wouldn't do that. But Joe, I didn't even know this until years later that he kind of looked at me sideways.
Right.
But I picked up Leah and I carried her out of the store.
Carried her. I would have got beaten all the way out of the store. Beaten.
But to me, I'm like, let's talk to them. Let's see what it is type thing. He talk all this, but he don't. And y'all see my mom, she talk about Leah is always an angel. So just my opinions. Hey, okay. Man, the queen. And so just my opinion says, has that affected the relationship with her bonding with your husband? Nope. Leah and Joe, like this. You would think sometimes I'm not even in the picture, because Leah goes hard for her daddy. She calls Joe daddy. But she goes hard for him, and let something happen, she's telling him, she'll get my phone and text him, and has been doing that since what? Since she could type.
She used to type me.
She used to type
random
like
words.
Random dumb stuff, and he would sit there and conversate with her, and they have done that ever since. That was like what, when she was like 3?
Yeah, she'll be texting me KKKKKUUIOOO SSSSSS.
And this nut still sitting here laughing and talking.
And I text right back. Yeah, babe. Yeah, sweetie. Yeah. Okay. For real? You did it. When? For who?
So they've always had a bond. I think sometimes with like having 2 kids with 2 different men, that sounds so ratchet, but I know it's real life. I got 2 baby daddies.
Oh, you so hood.
But I know it's not a non-common thing. But I feel like sometimes with Leah, you favor Leah more sometimes than Carmen, just because Leah's been here first and the type of bond y'all had before Carmen came along. You know what I mean? Like, y'all's bond is different than what you and Carmen's bond is. Even though Carmen is yours, it's almost as if, it's not almost as if, it is as if Joe is Leah's dad too. Like, it's no difference. When we go out in public, people be like, oh, I can see who you get that from. You look just like your dad. And me and Joe be like, no, she don't. Oh my God, you got your height from your father. And I'm like, no.
Just that bad smile. Oh, thank you. No,
like so pretty much it's like when we go out, like no one knows unless Leah says anything, and she doesn't say anything and we don't say anything, but it hasn't affected their bond. If anything, like their bond is closer. Like Joe He's more patient. I'm not. So Leah she'll have more conversations with Joe sometimes than what she'll have with me. But yeah. And Kenyatta said, I feel you on that on a certain degree with my first because his dad was the same way. However, I didn't let the store things happen. That is a no. Girl, it was so bad with Leah. Let me tell y'all how spoiled Leah was. Leah was so spoiled. I would take her to the grocery store with me, and I would buy her a baby doll every time we would go to the grocery store, just so she would hush. You want a baby doll? That's fine. We would go right there to Walmart. I would go to, before I even get the food, I would go to the baby doll section, get her a baby doll, let her hold that said Barbie or baby doll the whole time. And then when we leave, she gets to check it out. Sometimes I would go, and we had to just recently gave those baby dolls away. Or I would go get the baby doll, buy it, go ahead and tear the wrapping off, then go shopping. Just so I would have peace. But Leah knew that. She knew she could get what Leah didn't even have to ask. I'd be like, you want a baby doll? Because I don't feel like hearing you and your foolishness. So yeah. Okay, so Mansa Queen said, ratchet high, girl, you funny.
You ratchet?
Just My Opinion said, would you say a parent has faves?
Yes.
You think so?
If you're a parent, you don't got a favorite child, you're delusional.
I don't think that. I think the girls, to me, I think the girls are the favorite in their own right. There are certain things that
maybe not now,
but Joe says this because Joe is the favorite in his family and he's the known favorite. The known favorite. You're Joe is when I tell y'all Joe is the known favorite, go ahead and give him his halo. You're dumb. I can't even. But legit, y'all, Joe's the favorite. Like, and everybody.
But I think that is true. I like probably not now, but watch what I tell you. When we have another child, they're gonna know whose mom's favorite is. Just like in your family, you know who's the favorite in your family.
Me.
Okay, so
Mom, go ahead and comment in this chat and let these folks know that I'm the favorite. I'm waiting.
You sure you're the favorite? I don't think so.
Shut it.
I think Spencer
say
is
that I'm the favorite, but my brother is the only boy. He's the baby boy. And he is the last person to carry on the family name. He has a lot of weight on his shoulders. But I know he is my mom's favorite. My brother is everybody's favorite. Just because my brother has like this super sweet old soul and he's just sweet through and through. So yeah. I know, but with me and my siblings, we're so far apart. So with my sister and I, we're 9 years and a day apart. And with my brother, we're almost 12 years apart. And so that's why I say in our own right, we're like the favorite child for different reasons. Yeah. So I will say with the girls, both of them are my favorite.
They don't know. I mean,
it's certain things like me and Leah have a certain bond with certain things just because it was me and Lee. Like it was just us. But now since Carmen is getting older, I'm noticing like Carmen, you're a cool kid. Like Carmen likes to bake. She likes to do stuff like me. To whereas Leah's taking on that more like preteen teen role. So, mom's not cool anymore. So, yeah. So I say both of the girls are my favorite. I always say that they're my favorite daughters. You're lame because you say that there's favorites. So riddle me this. So we have 2 girls right now. Let's say we have another baby and we have a boy. Mm-hmm. Is that going to be your favorite?
I don't know.
And that's another thing too. Y'all, for a minute, Leah did not want us to have a boy baby, as she said, because Joe would spend more time with the boy baby. She like legit said that.
That's why she probably wanted Carmen in the beginning.
Yeah, because Leah prayed for a sister and said that she was having a baby sister. And this one, well, Leah said God spoke to her. You remember that? Leah said God spoke to her and told her she...
You better quit lying on the Most High.
Joe was like, don't be telling them lies. God did not speak to you. And Leah was like, God spoke to me. He told me I was going to have a baby sister. Like, she was adamant. And sure enough, surprise, here's Carmen, babe. You are dumb. Okay, so, Kenyatta, come get him. Come get him. Mansa Queen said, you are both hilarious. I am the known favorite too. Come on. You're the known favorite. Y'all, when I say it's obnoxious how much Joe is the favorite, it's obnoxious. I'm like, he don't even be doing nothing. I'm not even understanding like how you got deemed the favorite. I don't even understand.
Well, it's just my overall personality.
Shut up. This ain't no yearbook.
My personality.
You lame.
Why
you raising your eyebrows like that?
My ability to communicate and understand properly. To normalize and mentalize both genders.
I'm gonna put you out. It's nothing. That's what it is. It's nothing. You're dumb. Okay, so Just My Opinion said, would you all say mentally you have to adjust to each child differently? Yes, girl. Because we just had this conversation. What was it? A couple weeks ago when I think I told y'all like we have like a check-in or whatever where we kind of talk to each other. And with Liam, and I told you this too, when we got married, it wasn't like, okay, you're married. It was, okay, y'all are a family. Like it's full-fledged. Me and Joe didn't have time to adjust. Like literally when we came back from our honeymoon, how long was our honeymoon? Like a week? When we came back from our honeymoon, like it was, all right, mommy and daddy.
Yeah.
So I had to adjust to having a man, even because me and Joe did not live together pre-marriage. Right. So I had to adjust to a man being in the household. One, I had never lived outside of my parents' house. So that was an adjustment, one. Two, I had to adjust to you being around Leah and being that father figure because it wasn't like Joe was around Leah every single day. It was just on the weekends. Three, having to also adjust to, hey, I have a whole husband who is a dad. And selfishly, I thought that he should just adjust like that. But we were both trying to adjust. Plus, I was pregnant with Carmen. So not only were we adjusting as newlyweds and being in each other's space, we were also adjusting to being new parents and adjusting to a whole fetus at the same time. So it was a lot because me and Leah moved in with Joe, and that was a lot. We got pregnant on the honeymoon, and then we found a house, this house, moved into this house all within 3 months.
Yeah, it was rapid fire.
It was a lot. And again, I was pregnant. So adjusting to not only that, but also being pregnant and having your dude around. Because I say that loosely because with Leah's dad, we were together, but we did not live in the same state, if that makes sense. So now I have somebody who's actually in the household. We're trying to adjust. And I'm pregnant. And I got to look at your little ugly self. Because in my mind, I was just annoyed with everything that Joe was doing because I'm pregnant. And I'm trying to adjust with all of that. And I wasn't thinking like how you adjusted.
Yeah.
But now that we are thinking about having more kids, and now I'm having to readjust evaluate like how my attitude was and how I made Joe feel, like now I'm having to be like, dang, I was like, you should have divorced me. Like, that's not, I know that sounds bad, but I was just mean. And Joe didn't say anything. He was super patient. But I'd be done left him if he acted like how I acted. But anyway, same question. Sorry, babe. I just went on a whole tangent. So
yes, you did. Vernell says, I don't like people when they say they have a favorite child. They are both equal. A child could feel that.
That part. But Joe.
Let me answer that.
No.
Vernell,
because Because Joe's sister, your sister knows you're the favorite. And your sister says, yeah, because Joseph didn't get to do, Joseph did this, but it's known, and his siblings feel a certain type of way.
Like a lot of people say, they don't. Well, almost everyone say, I don't have a favorite child. I love all my children equally, and this, that. My love is for them. You might think that, but your children know who's the favorite.
And I will say this, with my siblings, my parents have never said that they have a favorite. They've never, and you know that. My parents have never said that they have a favorite, but Joe's parents have said that he is deemed the favorite.
Not really. It's a myth, basically, that I'm the favorite.
You a myth?
It's basically he's probably the favorite.
He's not. No, babe.
Yes,
you are lying.
Now my siblings will say that I'm the favorite, but my mom nor my dad said I was the favorite.
Sir.
My dad will say, well, your mama favors you, which duh.
If lightning struck right now,
me and my mom
she would be out.
Me and my mom, we're pretty much closer than my other two siblings.
So what I was saying was, my parents have never said, hey, that there's a favorite. However, it's three of us.
That's how I know who the favorite is. I know Spencer the favorite.
You know Spencer
Y'all know Spencer the favorite.
We know my brother is the favorite, but my parents, but that's different. My parents have never said,
they didn't have to say it.
They don't have to say it, but some things I'm like, Ma, come on now. I posted this meme of this mom giving her son Pediasure, but then like bottle feeding and rocking him with Pediasure and like yelling at her daughters. Not saying that my mom yells at us, but the way my mom talks to my brother is completely different with how she talks to me and my siblings. I mean, me and my sister. But everybody knows, like I said, my brother, we all know without my parents saying, hey, he's the favorite. But my parents feel like they treat us all the same. But like I said, it's such a big age gap. We all feel like we're the favorite in our own right. I'm the oldest. And so there's a lot of things. Get it together. It's a lot of things that I got to do that my siblings didn't get to do. My sister is the baby girl. And then my brother is the baby boy. And he's the only boy. So in that regard, we're kind of like our own favorite. But Joe's people, Joe the favorite. So just my opinions. You got to answer this question, babe. Just my opinions.
Did you pass over the other questions?
No, you skipped her because I answered hers when I went on a tangent. She said, would y'all say mentally you have to adjust to each child differently? I told you my opinion. But what do you feel? Did you feel like you had to adjust from, having Leah to having Carmen?
To fast forward this, basically,
don't fast forward my show.
I'm not fast forwarding nothing, but mentally, it was kind of different for me because it was like, dang, now I'm playing. Now I have to provide for two instead of just myself. So I think mentally just put me on the grind. I just pretty much grinded more. I know I need to make more money, this and that. But mentally, I think that was just, my manhood basically is I got to provide, make sure everything's everything. Roof over the head, lights, water, all that. Everything works. Make sure both of them don't need for anything. So I would say pretty much as far as my mental was just grind harder than what I was, because it's not just me anymore. So that's what that.
Yeah, I was just mean. And I made it hard for Joe to adjust, if that makes sense. So, hold on. Okay, Mansa Queen said, yeah, it is like you doing a interview, girl. So Mansa Queen said that she's the firstborn, and my dad was obsessed with having a child. LOL. My younger sister is 5 years younger than me. And then Kenyatta said, girl, I sort of thought that way with Dion, but I had a rude awakening. And then Just My Opinion said, do you think having kids adds stress to your relationship? Not in a bad way, but you working twice as hard to keep it together? Yes. Because again, I was mean. And I felt like, again, like, hey, I don't need you to do nothing. And especially like when Carmen came around, because we literally just had this conversation. When Carmen came, it was more or less like I had Leah before by myself, and I did it by myself, and I don't need you type thing. Even though Carmen was his, I refused help all the time, didn't I? And Joe would be like, oh, babe, I can help you do that. I got it. Oh, I'll give her a bottle. I got it. And it was so bad. This should tell you like how much I was in that single mom mentality. I breastfed both of the kids. But instead of me, now if you breastfeed, you know, like, hey, you're supposed to go ahead and breastfeed, like let them nurse and then pump on the other side so you can have bottles and stock up your milk. I was like, nope, I don't want nobody feeding my baby. I'm gonna nurse until I can't nurse anymore. And I wouldn't even do bottles for Carmen. So I was making it more difficult for myself. So when it was time for me to go back to work, I barely had any milk. But just because with Leah, I didn't have that time to be just like enjoy that momhood. It was like as soon as Leah was born, the drama started. So it was like fight or flight type situation. I'm not gonna say it started, but it was already there. But it just came to the surface like a big old zit. And so I didn't have time to enjoy like all the things of motherhood in those first couple months. Cause like legit, it was okay, she's here, all this stuff is happening, everybody's involved. What's going on? So I didn't get to enjoy that. And my dad said that too. Like when Leah was born, he was like, this is not how your first birth experience is supposed to be. So when I had Carmen, I was like, oh, I'm gonna enjoy every single minute, but I didn't include you. So whenever we do have another baby, like I know those are things that I have worked on. I think I have with myself, but I have to make sure that I make Joe feel more included, because I'm pretty sure you didn't feel included. Did you feel included? I had a sneeze and it's tickling my nostril.
Yeah, don't forget the thumbs up.
And y'all, my sneezes are belligerent. So when I do sneeze, just brace yourself. So do you think that kids add stress? Y'all, I had stressed out so bad. I sounded country just then. I had stressed out so bad with Carmen that my blood pressure was so high, I almost had a stroke. Real life. I was like 27 taking blood pressure pills when all I had to do was just say, hey, babe, can you help? Hey, babe, can you do this? Hey, babe, I accept your help. But no, I was trying to do all the things. Yeah, I was on a whole blood pressure pill for like, how long was I on blood pressure pills?
I don't know.
Like 3 months. But do you think kids add stress?
Of course, anything that's our norm adds stress, but it all depends on how you able to handle stress. Some people can handle stress better than others.
I don't handle stress well.
Because their mindset is a little bit different, is able to, move about, even being stressful without letting it hiccup anything, in the present.
But when you're stressed, you shut down internally. You go through the motions and you get stuff done, but you'll just shut down internally.
Mm-hmm.
So whereas me, I lash out. Like Joe and I could both be stressed, like in the past, and I would be lashing out, but Joe would be quiet. But I took him being quiet as if he didn't care. But that's just Joe's way of like, hey, I need to like just buckle down and get it done. And I didn't understand that. Plus, we had just gotten married and was like a whole family. So Vernell said, Joe, how did your dad get you prepared for marriage as a man? Ooh, that's a good question.
All right. How did my dad get me prepared as far as
I've
marriage?
never asked that. That's a good question.
To be honest, my dad did not really prepare me. Okay. I think it was a collective of what my dad did instead of said. Like my dad, he never really like we never had like a sit down and talk about marriage. Now we did talk, but we never really like talk about marriage or what you should do when you're married and situations. Like my dad, he wasn't really that type of talker. He was more of a doer. He was more of a shower. So, even though we didn't talk about, situation as far as marriage, being prepared as a man, he pretty much showed me. He showed me that you do, you need to provide. You need to make sure that the woman's happy, which that's a whole
Which
different
we
thing.
don't
That's
even operate that way
that's
as a marriage.
that's a whole
As a
different
couple.
thing. But a collection of, I would say, get a shout out to my uncles, my Uncle Bruce, Uncle Uzza, Uncle Philip and them. They pretty much, they'll send me certain, like we used to have around the holidays, like all my uncles, we all sit down, they talk about their relationships. And even though they may not talk to me directly, I just took bits and pieces of all their relationship and good information from each of them to compose it into the man that I should be when whenever I do get married and stuff like that. So now my dad, he really didn't like sit me down, prepare me, or give me, a guide. He pretty much just did more of the showing. So
yeah, and plus Joe's dad is like super quiet.
Yeah, he's
super sweet.
Yeah,
but
he's quiet.
He's quiet. Like, so I could see that. I could see where he would just show you versus, hey, this is how you supposed to do X, Y, Z. And so, just my opinion said, what are the major adjustments when becoming a wife? That's a good question too. So my major adjustment was trusting Joe's lead. What you think? I had a hard time with that.
It's your question.
I had a hard time with that because the way and nothing against how my parents raised us or anything like that, but and I told my mom this, that it's a double-sided thing. Like, my parents raised all three of us to be strong, independent. You don't need anybody to do X, Y, Z. You could do it your own. Two things I had to adjust. So the first thing would be accepting Joe's lead. Even though Joe and I communicate and things like that, and he'll be like, hey, babe, what you think of this, and I tell him my thoughts. If he decided to go against what I was saying, like, I'd be like, why'd you do that? Why didn't you listen to me? Why didn't you do X, Y, Z? But I had to trust, like, hey. And 10 times out of 10, when Joe did go, he would consult. But in my mind, I seen that he went against what I was saying. But actually, he took what I said into consideration. And even though it seemed that way, it really wasn't that way. But I had to understand, like, hey, we were a team, and sometimes I can't always lead. It's okay for Joe to lead. And I had a problem with that because I'm used to, hey, I'm going to be first. I'm going to do all this first. I want to get it done before this person gets it done. And I didn't take that into consideration that I have a whole nother partner. The other major adjustment I had was involving my dad. Because Joe, let's just say, I'd be like, hey, babe, you want to take out the trash? If Joe didn't move right then to take out the trash, I'd be like, I'm calling my daddy. Like, I don't care. I don't care if you're doing this. I'm calling my dad. So, like, literally any minor inconvenience that I felt like I was getting, I'd be like, I'm calling my dad. And my dad will legit be here within 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, well.
And it was to the point to where Joe was like, okay, like, I know you love your dad, but you can't do that. Like, this is our house. You know, the way that it looks, it just doesn't look good. And I was like, I don't care. That's my daddy. He's going to come over here. He's going to do whatever I want him to do because I'm his baby girl. I can do whatever. But I didn't take that into consideration, especially like how that made Joe feel or how that could potentially damage like my dad and Joe's relationship, because now it's like a peeing contest on who can do what for Jessica when it shouldn't even be that, because my dad has a whole wife, which is my mom. But it took me like a good year for me to get out of that mindset that, what did Mr. Tony call it? Princess complex. I had to get out of my princess complex because in my mind, that's my daddy. You ain't gonna do it? Okay, he'll be over here. And even now, like if I call my mom or my dad, if I say, hey, I need help with XYZ, they would be over here. But those two major things I had to adjust with because it was about to go all the way left. Yeah. Quick.
Yeah, stop that, bro.
Hold
on, where we at?
Hold on, let me see. Did I just skip a question? Wait, do you think? Okay, we answered that one.
Blessings. What's that? I
don't even know how to say that first.
Skyers.
Yeah, Skyers. And then just my opinion said, Joe, what made you decide that you wanted to marry Jess? Wasn't my cooking. Just kidding. Mom, just kidding. Just kidding, Mom. Mom, get out of the chat. What made you want to marry me?
I used to get this question a lot, even with my homeboys.
Tell them about all of the great things.
My homeboys and
don't tell me.
Like, can I talk? Anyway, a lot of people ask me that question. What made you?
Mom said you.
What made you want to marry Jess? I said, well, it wasn't an easy feat. As you know, like we dated for a minute, you know.
Too long.
Before I even made her my girl, like, you know, my girl like that.
But in my mind, we were together.
As far as the marriage, well, marrying her, I just saw values in her that I haven't seen with a lot of women. Not saying I dated a lot of women, but you know, how you keep on cutting me off.
I was asking, did you?
But you know how you see like a lot of women, they put stuff on Facebook, and you can kind of gauge how they are. With her, I seen something totally different. I seen something as far as I won't say old school, but how a lot of my grandmother and all that, how they treated, you know, their men. As far as she liked some of the old school ways, that a lot of women her age go apart from. Like I want to say she knows her role, but she knows her role. She knows,
not in like a derogatory way or whatever.
She knows the role that she's supposed to play, just like I know my role or whatever. So with conversations I used to ask her as far as, you know, cooking, kids and stuff like that, and the conversation she just had with me, I was like, man, this chick here is really different. You know how they say, you know, finding a wife, finding a good thing. You also know how, you know, a woman is like a diamond, hard to find and stuff like that. So when you get jewels like that, weirdo, when you get jewels from a woman like that, it's like, man, I need to hold on to this diamond or this expensive thing here, because it's not going to be very often that you pass someone like this. So that's what pretty much in a lump sum as far as what made me marry her is her values, her mindset, how she thought. She wasn't really ratchet like on social media. She wasn't showing her body off on social media. And one thing I would say kind of cemented it was I seen how her family was. Like her family was a big part of me marrying her, whether they know it or not. How she treated her father and her granddad. And I can see the love that she had for them, strong men like that. So I was like, well, she treats them like this, I know she'll treat me just as good, if not better. So that pretty much in a lump sum made me want to marry this woman right here.
So my family, you didn't think I was pretty?
I mean, you was cute.
It's always that one hater. What was I about to say? Mr. Man, if we didn't tell you, hey.
Mr. Man, what it do? What the business is?
You here.
Where we at?
We just finished with what made you want to marry me.
Vernell said, okay, your dad showed you and your uncles demonstrated to you step by step. Okay, I got you. Yeah, pretty much, yeah. With that, yeah, my dad pretty much showed, my uncles communicated the steps.
And I'll say, like, with my family, like with you saying some of my ways or whatever, with my family, we're super close. Sometimes Joe says that we're too close. Because we talk a lot. Me and my family talk a lot. And all my family is here. All my immediate family is here with the exception of one aunt. And so I will say, and I guess this is where it's different too with me and my siblings, is with me when I was younger, I was around my aunts, I was around my grandparents a lot, and of course my parents. And so even like now, I talk to my grandma probably about 3 or 4 times a week, which some people don't even talk to their grandma that much, but I talk to my grandma almost as much as I talk to my mom. But what are you doing? Anyways, I talk to
just got to sell, but go ahead.
I talk to them as much as what I talk to my mom. And I'll say with them, I've taken characteristics from all of them to figure out what type of woman or wife I should be. But again, Joe and I did go through premarital counseling. So some of those ways that I thought was how a wife should be, like I was like, that's not hot. That's not, even though I seen that, that's not what I would want to demonstrate to Joe type thing. So I will say some of that stuff I had already had, like, hey, this is how I would be if I was a wife. But then I also still had to change some of my mindset, because it's different when you are around your family and you get advice versus when you're around a third party, if that makes sense.
And everybody's not meant really to be a wife. You know, a lot of women think it's gonna be a little controversial, but a lot of women think they're queens. I mean, no. I mean, some of you are just concubines. Like, you know, it's just in your, I won't say in your DNA, but if you're considerably in that sinking place, like a lot of women don't know they're in that sinking place with that, but everyone's not meant to be married.
Yeah. I had this conversation with my mom too.
Even men, like some men say, "Oh, I'm gonna get married one day." Nah, dude, you're not really ready, bro. Like you're not ready to go to that level. And a lot of some like women, they're not ready.
Yeah, some people that I've talked to, some women I've talked to, I'm like, that's your mindset. Like, no, that's not a good mindset to have if you're thinking of going into a marriage. But I never thought, like I said, I never thought I would even date anybody, let alone be married after having a child out of wedlock. I just didn't even think that was going to happen. I was like, no one's going to want me. No one's going to want to be married to me. So I will say I had to change that mindset too, because I just thought I was just damaged goods. I'm out here with the scarlet letter. So I will say, yeah, not everyone is meant to be a wife, and not everybody is meant to be a husband, because it's definitely levels. And even once you get married, it's still levels. It's still things that you have to work on.
And you know what's funny? You know, kind of a side turn. You know how your lesbians, your gays, you know how they fought. Oh, they want to be married and stuff. You want to be like us. And they have the highest divorce rate because, like, it's levels. Like, people don't know, to be in a successful marriage, it's a different.
You have to put in work.
It's a different type of mindset each other parties must have. You know,
it has it. I'm not gonna say our marriage is like, oh my God, I'd be ready to chop you in the throat every day. But I will say every day, it's still work. It's still that work to keep our relationship the way that it was when we got each other. And that's like second nature. Like, hey, just checking on each other throughout the day, checking in and having those conversations. It's that. Because you could easily slip away just by not speaking. That's a whole nother thing. Us even having our check-ins, that's major, because some people we talk to, they're like, what's the check-in? Y'all check in? Because the weeks be so crazy. Joe's at work all day. I'm home with the kids. It's easy for us to just get in those roles, and we two ships passing in the wind. Because that's how it kind of felt like when Carmen was born. Because Joe was working a split shift. He wasn't coming home to 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. I'm here with the kids by myself. And now I'm annoyed because you're here and I'm trying to get them to bed. You have to keep, it's levels, period. Not everybody is willing to put in that work to get to the next level. Not that John and I argue all the time. We have like one good argument, probably like once every 6 months. And 9 times out of 10, it's me. Because I be doing the most petty stuff. But how are you going to overcome that? How are you going to get past that? Some people just think, oh, okay, you have an argument and that's the end. And that's not the case. So, can you add a don't amen him? Okay, so Skyer said you two are going to be okay. I can feel the love. Let no one,
but you be reading and I haven't clicked on the thing with your reading. Okay,
click on that. Thank you, babe. I can feel the love. Let no one, especially either one of you, put you as under. Remember, you are one unit now. 2 people, 1 unit. Yes. And
that's very true.
I had a hard time with that too, because I felt like we were a unit, but we were still separate. You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, I can still do all the things that I needed to do. Not realizing I have a whole person here that's here to help me, judgment free. And I was just like, I can still do it on my own. And I know I acted like that. But Joe is still patient. He ain't leave me. He's still here.
It's levels, fellas.
Because I mean, being married is completely different. And you living with this person all the time. Like I said, I had never lived with anybody. I had never been on my own. I had been with my parents the whole time with Leah. So it was definitely different. So you want to go to the next one?
What's the next one?
Team 706 said, I have more.
Wait.
I have more divorced friends than married ones. It's really not for everybody. It's not. And my friends, luckily, I've had the same friends for 16 plus years. And all of us are in relationships or marriages that are years in. So it's like we all can relate. With the exception of two people, 2 of my best friends, they're not married or in a relationship or anything. But like, even when we sit down and talk, and everybody, it's like all of our marriages or relationships have gone through those things, but like, how are you going to overcome that? Are you just going to let that wall just stay there and you're not going to break through it? You're not going to try and talk about it? You're, like I said, I was mean and petty, and I'm still working on that to this day, but I could have easily just said, no, I'm not going to change, and I'm going to keep being petty. I'm going to keep being ugly. I'm going to keep being mean. But that's not helpful to Joe. So somebody's got to change. It ain't Joe, because he's not the one. He's the victim. He's not the one being mean. It's me. All right, next one, babe. Vernell said, one thing I can say is I used to be like that. If a woman treated her father good, she would treat her husband good. And if a man treats his mom good, he would treat his woman. But that is not the case anymore. Yeah,
that's really not the case anymore, because now you have kids raising kids, and a lot of the mothers want to be in now. No disrespect to the mothers that's out there on TikTok with their kids, but it seems like a lot of
TikTok with my non-rhythm stuff.
It seems like a lot of mothers, fathers, or whatever, they want to be so cool with their kids, and they want to be in with the kids that they forget to instill in them
those values,
the nutrition they actually need to be in a successful relationship or marriage. They so busy trying to be in.
Next, Vernell said, you want to click it? He wanted to be in this spot, y'all. Next one. You might as well stay there real quick. Vernell said, in some instances, and I think that's wrong, husbands and wives are losing respect for you once they get you, and that is not right these days. That's right. That is right. And then just my opinions, which is the next one. She said, what do you think about living together before marriage?
Ooh. You talking about shacking up?
Shacking? Lord. Just kidding.
Shacking, boy, that's like one of the 7 deadly sins in some people's households, shacking up.
My parents are anti-shacking. However,
to be honest, how I felt about living together before being married. At first, like I actually asked her to move in with me before.
I had a whole key.
Yeah, like I was gonna ask, did ask her to move in with me, but
yeah, because I was like, all right,
as far as living together before marriage, I would say now, if I had to teach my son and daughter, I would say no.
You would tell them no?
I would say, y'all have y'all separate ends. You have your house or, his house. And then once y'all able, I would say you can even live with them while he proposed, you said I do with all that good job. And then y'all can live together, and if y'all get married a year later, then that's cool. But I feel that once you start living, I believe it's like a comfort. So if a person that your boyfriend or girlfriend with asks to move in, yeah, that's cool, but you start seeing things in them that you may not like. And due to you don't really have that next level of being together.
It's like you done bought the whole cow, plus you got the milk, and you don't, like, once you get all that, then what?
It's basically like, well, we're together. So it's like, if one of the other parts can always be like, all right, I'm gone. Because there's nothing. You can't do that in a marriage. You got paperwork in a marriage, you know what I'm saying?
The only way out is in a box.
So for someone to just be living in your house or whatever, it's easier it seems like it's kind of easier to be, just escape and be out and, kind of wash your hands. So I believe it depends on the individual, but if it's me and I'm raising our daughter's a son, I would prefer them being
I like
engaged.
how you keep throwing that son in there.
I prefer them to be engaged or married, then actually living together. than being boyfriend and girlfriend and just, shacking up.
I agree that you should at least be engaged. I'm not opposed to living together before marriage because my thing was, let me see how you are as a person, like how it is living together, so that way you don't have that adjustment period. But I feel like if we would have probably lived together before we got married, we probably wouldn't have got married.
Yeah, we might not.
We probably wouldn't have got married.
Probably would not have never got married.
We probably wouldn't have got married, and that's for real. But we have told the girls several times, hey, before anything, you need to get a degree, or do a trade, or Joe says military. I wouldn't want the girls to be in the military. Nothing against the military. That's just me. Get your life started. You can date, but get your life started so that way you have that foundation. Then invite somebody else in, whether that's marriage or whatever. I'm not anti-shacking, but I do feel like you should have something. Like you should have a ring. Like and you talk about you should have a ring. I didn't have a ring when you asked me.
I didn't say that.
Yes, you did. You said
no. I said I believe you should be engaged.
Yeah, so that's a ring.
Not to me, it's not.
You don't think being engaged is having a ring?
No, remember what I said?
Yeah.
Once I asked you to be my wife, you my wife right then. So technically,
you don't need a ring. Who that?
It's Marcus.
Oh.
Marcus, man, if you on we on live, bro. Get in on the live. You need to ask me some questions.
What was I about to say? But yeah, we weren't engaged when Joe asked me to move in with him. Joe was gonna propose. We had already talked about it. We had talked about, hey, what would it be like if we got married? What would it be like if we were engaged? We had those questions, but I didn't know that Joe was going to propose. So in that regard, we was just out here living our best life, just dating. All right, so the next one, Team 706 says, you have to fall in love as many times as you fall out. That's true.
For her.
Huh? I don't fell out of love?
No.
Oh.
Team 706, I don't believe in falling in love.
Oh, yeah. I said I fell in love with Joe.
Yeah. I don't believe in falling in love. Falling in love is fairy tale.
You think so? I don't think it's fairy tale.
Falling in love is fairy tale. You already know how I get my synopsis. Word of the day, synopsis. I don't even think I said it right. But anyway, how I feel about falling in love.
But do you think you felt, how did you, so you didn't fall in love with me?
I loved you.
Didn't we have this conversation and I got mad?
Well,
I think I got mad.
I don't know if you got mad.
I don't think we need to have this conversation.
The reason pretty much behind that is, like I said, falling in love is that fairy tale, almost like the knight in shining armor and all that.
But I felt like that was you.
Princess, I'm gonna be a princess. All this fairy tale, all this at Disney. I call that Disney. The person said, "Oh, I just want to fall in love with someone." No, you need to find somebody you're gonna love unconditionally. Like when you say your vows, that's pretty much you say. You love this person unconditionally. You love them. I would say, because once a person say, I'm falling in love, I believe that's like an infatuation. Like at that moment, like I'm in love and everything she do is perfect. But at the same token, you can be like, oh, I don't love you. I don't fall in love. It was all about the sex. I fell in love with the sex, or I fell in love with the money that you was giving me that made that other person look good. So that's why I say I don't believe in falling in love. I believe you should love that person. So just like with anything, to me, just like your kids, you don't fall in love with your kids. You love your kids. No matter what they do, you still love them. With your parents, you don't fall in love with your parents. You love your parents, no matter what.
But I think I fell in love with you, though.
And that's fine.
I feel like I fell in love with you, but it's not a situation to where it was a fairy tale. It was like, okay, like how do you get in love? Like how?
How do I love? Like love?
Yeah, like so when you said that you loved me the very first time, you were like, oh, I'm not falling in love. It's I love her. I stumped him.
No, it was like I love her. It's almost like you can't really explain it. It's like I can't really explain it. It's just you have it. You know how some people are famous like you got it. I can't really say what it is, but you have it. That's why I say how.
But when Joe told me he loved me for the first time, it looked like he had swallowed a whole fly.
I never told any woman.
Joe was shook.
Never in my life told any woman that I loved them because I knew that love word is super heavy. And once you tell somebody that you really like love them or whatever, like they hold that over your head, especially, you know, in today's relationship. And like love is being watered down now. So you can love, I fell in love with Lil Flip, but now people don't care about Lil Flip. So you're not really loving them. So you don't really love Flip. Anyway, but
I told Joe that I loved him first.
Yeah.
4 months before Joe told me he loved me. 4, count them.
Yeah.
And when I told Joe that I loved him, he said, "That's cute."
I said, "That's cute." I wasn't gonna say that I love her. I'm not, and I'm big on that. Like
you need to say it back.
When we're dating, I'm straight up. That's spirit. I'm straight up. Like I'm not gonna say something that I don't feel. So like the first time I told her I loved her,
he looked like the Holy Ghost.
I was like,
had just tapped into his whole spirit.
I've never told another woman that I dated, been together with, that I loved them. And I knew once I told her, when it came just out of nowhere.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere.
That I love her, I said, she's going to be my wife.
No, you actually said that when we were taking 6-month engagement. I mean, not 6-month engagement, 6-month pictures. Mm-hmm. Which was like a couple weeks before. But when I told Joe that I loved him and he told me that it was cute, this nut over here talking about, well, just because I didn't say it back doesn't mean that you don't have to, that doesn't mean that you have to stop saying it. You can keep saying it. What? I'm not going to keep saying I love you and you just be like, okay, that's dumb. And I still did it to a certain extent, which was even more stupid. I should have never kept saying that I loved you. But I put myself all the way out there, though. Because I had never told anybody I had loved them first. No. Everybody just loved the J.
And plus, like, when she told me that, I was like, man, she probably don't really love me. She probably just like the situation that she's in.
But I know I really loved him.
Because, you know, other women I did, they told me, oh, I love you and stuff like that. You know, I love you. And I'll be like, man, you don't love me. That's how I be thinking. Like, you don't love me. In my mind, I'm like, you don't love me. You just like the situation that you're in at the time. You don't really like.
But when I had told Joe that I loved him, it wasn't like we had just started talking. We had been together for almost 2 years. Mm-hmm. And I had told him that I loved him. But we had only been dating for like 2 months. So we had been together, but only been dating for 2 months. And I was like, man, I love this man. I'm going to be with him for the rest of my life. And he's talking about, that's cute. Little ugly stuff. So the next one says, true or fall in love more times than you feel like you've fallen out. True.
See, that's why I was like, I don't believe in falling in love, because how many times you want to fall in love with a person and fall out of love with
because
them?
This is my thing. I think as far as like falling in love, you're taking it as if it's a fairy tale. But maybe falling in love is not really the best words. Maybe it's your love for that person grows stronger. For instance, when you do certain things, like let's just say you're outside playing with the girls and y'all you go and do something that is like, oh man, that's like super sexy, and dang, that is really why I love that man. Like certain things that you do just reignites the fact that I love you, because you get into that comfort to where it's like, okay, I love you. We say it, and it's almost like a routine sometimes. But then when you go and do something like super sweet, i.e., you got me that Golden Girls shirt, I was like, oh, that was sweet and thoughtful. You didn't even have to do that. That was like, oh man, I really love him. Like, that's something you didn't have to do. Something simple like that. So I think falling in love, you're taking it as if it's a fairy tale, but I think the true meaning behind that is you're falling more in love, but that love grows more and your love for that person is more deep as things like that happen. Because it's easy. You could do the same thing. I'd be like, oh, it's trash. It's just a regular shirt. Oh, you could do that anytime. But to me, that's something like super simple, super thoughtful that you didn't have to do. So I think that's where the falling in love is. So I just kind of dissected that. So Just My Opinion says that she feels like living together, you get to see the real person. Yes. But if me and Joe probably would have lived together, we probably would have never made it.
And I say, yeah, you can. A lot of people say you see the real person, but you don't really have to live with a person to actually kind of feel, especially women. Women, y'all have the intuition, so y'all can kind of feel how a guy is, you know, if you was to live with them.
I don't think so. Because I would probably.
I think. Well, let me see. I think.
So you think if we were living together, you would have that intuition, not intuition, but you would have that feeling like, man, this ain't gonna work if it wasn't working.
Yeah.
See, to me, I'd be like, okay, it's not working, but let me try harder. Let me try and see. Let me give it one more chance. In my mind, I would try and rationalize why it's not working and what it is that needs to happen so we can keep pushing it to make it work.
True. But at the same time, that's why I say you don't want to be like, being with someone shouldn't be really hard.
It shouldn't.
Like you shouldn't have to, oh, what I can do and make it, I got to go harder now to continue being with this person.
But I think that's a flaw. It's a blessing and a curse for women.
I know.
Because we want to fix it. Because even though it's not working, it's like, oh, okay, let me still try and make it work. What is it that I need to do different? Those things. So next, Vernell says, I think you should live separate because that's the last time being independent by yourself before you come one. Yeah, I never got to do that. And then Vernell says, why buy the cow when you can milk free? They want to take it as serious as they live with you for the first time. And then the last one says, just my opinions. What goes through your mind when y'all are in odds in your marriage? Like, what does it take for you to overcome the issue? We want to chop Joe in the throat.
You want to take it all the way from up, all the way from out the screen.
Out the front. Wow. No, but seriously though.
Well, I guess what.
So we'll go with our recent spat, which was stupid. But I'm the type of person to where I know stuff is stupid. And Joe, he doesn't even feed into my foolishness. So I don't know stuff is stupid, but I'll be so far invested with my attitude. I'd be like, Jessica, keep on. Keep on. Keep on. Keep on. It's days now. Keep on. And Joe just be walking around like ain't nothing happened.
Yeah. Which is actually not good.
It's not good.
She's working on that.
It's hard. It is so hard.
But that's really not the way to do things. I don't hold her totally at fault because I should also nip it in the bud when it does happen. So it's weight on me as well that, you know, that's something else you grow, you work on, and, you know, eventually it's not going to be there anymore. Not saying it's overnight, it's a work in progress. I'm
getting a little bit better. Because my thing is, I feel like when we're at odds, 7 times out of 10, it's been me. One time I know for sure was you, and I was justified for being upset for as long as I was upset because Joe, backstory, told y'all I was breastfeeding.
Here we go.
And I was already struggling with my milk production with Carmen. And Joe took my baby to school and left her breastfeeding bottles in the car. The daycare called Joe. Senor Wells, where is Senorita Carmen's bottles? He then did not take the bottles up to the school, and they had to feed my baby cow's milk. So mind you, I was already struggling producing my milk, and he left my baby's bottles. Joe didn't think it was that serious. However, I was trying to put Joe out. I told him he had to go stay with his mama. And I was dead serious. I was like, you gotta go. You ain't feed my baby.
Yeah, she was upset.
I was crying on the phone.
How can you do that to your child? Your child, how can you forget? I'm like, she'll be okay. She's at a daycare where they have something to give her.
But y'all know, if you have nurse, it is blood, sweat, and tears that go into making them bottles. And I was ready to leave him over some breast milk, liquid gold.
But yeah, basically as far as how to overcome the issue.
You see how you sideswiped that?
No, because we need to continue the next question and stuff. So, so basically to like overcome it, like I said, once again, it falls on the individual. Once again, it's levels to marriage. Everyone can't get over issues like that. It's a certain mindset that both parties must have. Like a lot of couples, you know, they say, oh, we argue just like any other couple.
Yeah, like, but I don't even know what that means. Any other couple.
We have breakups. We have breakups. It's like, and a lot of society now, they think that's normal. No, it's really not normal to break up with a person. No, to break up with a person 4 or 5 times. Like,
yeah. Now, in my relationship before Joe, it seemed like every quarter we was breaking up. But when we got together, when we met for the very first time, we were like, if we were to get in a relationship, if we break up, that's it. That's it. Like, no takesy backsies, that's it. And that's how it's been. We done been together ever since. But when we have arguments, of course, like, we have to push through it because I may think Joe's being condescending and he may think that I'm being a brat just because that's just how it is. But we both have to work on it.
What's some other questions someone
So the next topic is building trust in your marriage. What are some ways that we've built? What do you think helps constitute trust in a marriage? I guess I never felt like I had to build it with you. It's like it was almost like it was just second nature.
And see, with me, as far as with trust, I trust everybody until you give me a reason not to. I mean, that goes for anyone, my kids, you know, anybody. Like, you can trust somebody, like, you know, even, you know, some people may say they may help you in certain things, and, you know, I give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm that type of person. I give you the benefit of the doubt, but once the moment I see you veering off to another section, then okay, I can't trust you anymore. Like, I trust you up until a certain point. And like, even some people that I talk to today, their friends be like, "Oh man, how you still talk to that certain person?" I don't mind talking to some person, even if someone has done me wrong. I don't mind talking to that person. It just, I know what not to do around that person and what not to lend that person. Period as that, because a lot of people say, you know, you see a lot of people lending money to folks and stuff like that. Like, why are you lending them? You know, I'll lend you money the first time if I'm willing to lose that money. Now, if you pay me back, great. You know what I'm saying? You up there with, you know, the very few in my circle. But if I, oh, Joe, I need some money, can I hold X amount of dollars?
Nope. You go ahead.
I got X amount of dollars, so I'll let you I'll give you the money only if I'm willing to lose that money. Like if someone asks me for, let's just say $300, right? If I know I can blow $300, I would lend it to that person, not really expecting it back, depending on that type of person. So basically, it's really, even though they say, "Oh, I'm gonna pay you back," I'll give you this $300. Make sure you pay me back. If that person end up not paying me back, I don't hold no grudge against that person. It's just like, okay, well, I just blew $300. Lesson learned. That's how I see it. Lesson learned. But a lot of people that
How do I know if it's charging?
It's on the right, on the light right there.
Oh, so the light. What does that mean?
That means it's charging.
Oh, okay. It has 3 lights.
That means you have 75% battery.
Okay, bet. You got these fancy charges. But I will say this, Joe and his trust, we're different. Because I will cut you off and lose no sleep. Like, I will go years without talking to you. I could walk right past you, say, hey, and keep it moving. Joe will still, like he said, he'll still talk to you. But he knows, like, once you get to that certain level, like, oh, okay, like, you can't be trusted. I just be like, nope, that's it.
Yeah, she'll
I will cut you off so quick.
She's a cut offer.
And I be like, I will lose no sleep. Period. Joe, he's like, no, babe, you shouldn't be like that. Nope, I'm cutting you off.
Yeah.
Period.
I still get a benefit of the doubt. But like I say, a lesson learned is a lesson learned,
Yeah. No, I can't be like that. And so Skyer said, which that's like the last one, there is levels to marriage. True. And there is 2 levels. Food.
What?
Wait, there is...
2 levels to food, like breast milk is way better than cow's milk.
True. Had my baby at the school drinking cow's milk.
One day.
Didn't matter. That was a lot of stuff that went into that breast milk. So the next thing is being understanding in your marriage. What are some ways that we're being understanding?
Understanding is basically like what's the word I want to use? Start with a C.
Compassionate. Sounds like consistent. Capable.
I don't know.
Charismatic.
No. I guess you can start until I get it. Get this brain fart.
Old age. I will say I'm still learning to be understanding, because we literally just when we had our last little spat, like, I swear all of this stuff came up. You're such an old man.
I'm trying to think of what it is.
Because Joe, to me, like, I will pop off. Joe's super calm. And how y'all see him talking, this is like how he is.
She got to consider it. Consideration.
Who said that? I can't.
Skyers.
So.
Thank you.
Sounds like me and her playing charades. And so Joe would, when he, like, us having this conversation now, this is how Joe talks if we're having an argument. But to me, in that moment, I feel like Joe is being condescending. I feel like he is trying to patronize the situation. Why are you cutting the fan on?
Because it's hot.
I'm going to need a blanket. I feel like Joe is just trying to, like, pacify the situation. But just recently, Joe was like, no, like, don't think that every time I'm coming with a solution or anything like that, like, take that into consideration. Don't take it as if I'm being condescending. You just need to understand where I'm coming from. And even now, we've been together, what, almost 10 years? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm still trying to get used to that because I guess in my mindset, you're not being considerate. Since I'm so feisty at the moment, it's condescending. But I have to, now I understand, like, okay, take a step back. Don't think that it's just coming across as an attack or him being, him patronizing the situation. Is actually him trying to find a resolution. So if you understand what you're saying, since you couldn't even get your thought out.
Oh, as far as being
understanding in a marriage.
Yeah, because everyone has their faults or their,
Say I'm already called you.
Their issues, little issues they may have. You just have to understand that that's just their issue. You have to work your way around it.
Drunk tongue.
Got that going.
Tongue sliding around.
I say that. But yeah, you should. I mean, like a lot of the questions that falls under this is the reason why it's levels to marriage.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just be with somebody just to be with them.
Yeah.
It's way more than a boyfriend.
And you see more with it's different when you're dating versus when you're engaged versus when you're married. Because the same issues we have now were not the issues that we were faced with when we were engaged or when we were dating. Because we didn't have anything tied to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah. So that's that. So the last one I have is, what is the spiritual side of your marriage?
What do you mean by the spiritual side?
Just my opinions. What do you mean about the spiritual side of marriage? Are you still in the chat? Do you mean like us as a couple, like church, or what?
Or being like spiritually bonded to each other.
What do you mean?
But as far as we both believe in the Most High.
Yeah, we're both baptized. And
on that part, we're not religious though.
But I didn't grow up in church. Joe grew up in church. Like Joe went to church 50 million times a day.
2 weeks. 2 times a week, maybe 3.
In church all day Sunday. I didn't start going to church until I was 20. I got baptized when I was 21, so I'm still a little baby Christian. So yeah, Joe, on the other hand, was born and raised in the church.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
That's true.
So even though we have some of the same beliefs, our walk to get to faith was different because you were in it. Like you had no choice. You were in it. So whereas I was an adult before I went to church like that. Fun fact, I got baptized when I was pregnant and I didn't even know I was pregnant. Like, does that count? But that does count. I just didn't know.
Talking about count.
Like, that's the whole, like, I know everyone sins, but in my mind, like, that's like the Lord knew I was all the way with child and I had no clue.
Yeah, he knew that before you knew that.
True.
Which I don't really like calling the Most High he or she. I just say the Most High.
You gotta get my page. Hey, Fifi girl!
I just like, saying the Most High because I think, just me, I don't think God is a man nor a woman. I believe the only reason why there's a man and woman is to create, male, female, create child. I don't believe the Most High is a male or female.
Mind you, we've never had this conversation until just now. You've never told me that.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So do you think as a couple we're spiritual?
I think we spiritually connect. I believe that's why we can get along with each other. And I believe that's why our marriage has sustained the way it has, because spiritually we can feed off each other to see how each other is feeling sometimes, and, know things to do for each other.
So you feel like you connect with me spiritually in what way? Like, give me an example of a time you felt like you were spiritually connected to me.
To be honest, the most spiritual connection I had with you was with Carmen when she was first born.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you feel that way?
I don't know. I guess because, that was kind of your most vulnerable state.
Was this when I was sedated and you was catching my throw up, or this was like
this is in the time you had went to get the C-section done, and I was on the outside before they tell me to get in. Mm-hmm. I felt you that whole time, and then when I went in there,
I feel like I'm about to cry.
And when I went in there, I had seen you,
and I had threw up everywhere, asking for my husband. Throw up all on my face.
But it was just like, at the moment, I was like, man, it's like a connection. It was like a bond there. And I was like, man, this is wild. Because for one, as you know, I was a single bachelor. I never had any kids.
You wasn't no bachelor.
I was a bachelor. I had no kids. I had my own place. Had my own transportation.
You
had a job.
Yeah, he was like slim pickings. I don't know where I found you out. Found you at Facebook. But you felt spiritually connected with me then? I didn't know that.
No.
But mind you, when I had Carmen, like I was sick all day, every day. I was sick. When
twice I was kind of connected to you, and that was with your dad situation. When you went to go see him, or your brother.
Oh. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. I was like, wait, what? But I didn't know with Carmen you felt that way. Only because I was so out of it, y'all. I didn't really realize what was going on. Not that I had like an emergency C-section or anything like that. Like it was a scheduled C-section, but they said my epidural was just super good, so I was sick. But you felt like that then, like when you were sitting outside the door. But I felt, which is weird now that I'm thinking about it, I felt like when you, and I know this sounds so crazy, y'all, but when Joe caught my throw up, he came in there like your mama trying to catch a throw up before it hit the carpet. And he literally held the bag to my face and didn't say nothing, just caught my throw up. He was still talking to my mom. Like, nothing happened. I was like, he really loves me. Like, he's really like, you really here. Because I didn't get that with my first delivery experience with Leah, because it was literally night and day. But I didn't know that. That's super sweet. You just felt connected to me, like in that moment. Did you feel like overwhelmed? Like what?
I didn't feel overwhelmed. It was just I was in that moment. That connection. Well, to me, the connection was just in that moment. It is
even though I wasn't
that, and then of course, I felt connected to you on the day we got married.
Oh.
And when I seen you walking down the aisle, I was like, man.
I think not when I was walking down the aisle. I think our rehearsal. When Leela was like, take a moment. So when we had our rehearsal, Joe was like up there on the stage, like talking. And my wedding planner, which is now like one of my very, very good friends, I was standing with my dad and she was like, you know what? Take a moment, breathe it in, and just realize, what you're walking into and what your future is going to be. And y'all, I never cried. And I lost it. And I was like, oh, I got married my best friend. But none of that I didn't feel any of that until that moment. Like, I didn't really, I knew we were getting married, but I didn't have that, oh my God, like, man, I'm really about to get married and I'm really going to spend the rest of my life with this person. I didn't really have that until she said that. Had she didn't say that, I probably wouldn't have processed it.
Man, the rehearsal, I probably teared up and cried in a rehearsal more than the actual ceremony, because I was like, God, now I said, ain't gonna be no beat. I'm like, I ain't about to have
You did
no photos of me up here boo-hooing, no sir.
But Joe did almost cry though, or did you cry when you said vows to Leah?
Oh, no. When I was saying vows to both of y'all, it was like, man, that paper was shaking so much to me, and my eyes were so watery. But it was like, I'm not about to cry in front of my family. But it was like, I couldn't. It was all the Most High, because when I was reading those vows, you know, I already read them, kind of memorized them. But when I was reading them, I could not see a word on that paper.
I didn't know that.
You know how your eyes water so much, everything's blurry? So take that and a shaky hand. It was like I was reading.
Joe was shaking.
I don't know how I got through that paper. I honestly don't. How I got through that paper, reading that in the vows to her. And when I had to get down and read to Leah, oh my
God, yeah. And Joe, his hands were shaking so bad, y'all. They were like this. He couldn't even put Leah's necklace on.
I couldn't even put her necklace
It was on. Like, you know how
got their grandparents.
It was so awkward. I was like, this is not part of the show. I had to like scoop Joe's little hand out the way and put on Leah's necklace because he just could not get it together. You know you know how you have, like, picture your most awkwardest moment, like when you're trying to like screw something in or whatever, and the crowd is looking at you and you keep dropping the nail and dropping the nail and dropping the nail. Everybody's
I could not put that necklace on to save my life. I was like, why they give me this little behind class?
Put the necklace on, and then it
was in front of everybody, got the bright lights on you. I'm like, oh Lord, I can't put it on. My hands are shaking, my eyes are watering.
And Leah was just standing there so patient.
No, she was standing there like, Daddy's gonna get it. I know it.
Eventually.
Everybody's
like, okay. I will say I guess I never thought of it being spiritually connected. I don't know. I guess I never thought of it that way, but I guess I have been. But I wonder, like, we've talked about like our next pregnancy and when we do have another baby and things like we'll do different and stuff like that. And I guess since I know how I know going into whenever we do have more kids, like to let my guard down, and we're more established now versus just a fresh out the gate couple type thing. Like I can actually not feel like I have to take the reins as, oh, I'm so strong, I'm so independent. Like I can still be strong and independent and still have a spouse. Like it doesn't discount my strongness or my independence. Like, so I guess I went into the situation like that, but I'm curious to see like how we'll be spiritually when we have another baby. Cause I know my guard won't be up so high.
Right.
She said, oh, just my pants. Just my pants was asking you, girl. What Skyer says, you guys make a cute couple. Your stories are so funny. I appreciate you live. No, we appreciate you. Thank you for being here.
Appreciate it. About 5 hours and you still here.
You so silly. Just my opinion. What did you mean by us being spiritually connected? What was your what did you want specifically out of that question? I guess because I didn't know what spiritually meant. I thought spiritually meant like God. But that's religious.
No, spiritually.
You think that's spiritual?
Religious is an act.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
you know, you know, people have a certain religion, that means they have a certain act that they do. Just like with like Muslims, their religion is they don't eat pork. There's something.
Oh, okay.
Like
Okay. I get it. Like I didn't take humanities in class, but thanks, babe, for.
That's kind of how. That's why some people say I'm spiritual and not religious, because some people don't want to be tied to a
the
religion.
Act of what happens in that religion.
Right, because it's so many religions. So you gotta do this, and this with this religion. On this religion, you gotta do this, and this. Buddhists, you gotta do this, and this.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's kind of like their religion. People who spiritually means they just
connect with the Most High.
Right.
Okay.
With,
or with whatever. Yeah. Well, technically, wouldn't that be their Most High?
Whatever they deem.
Okay.
You know, to us, how we say the Most High because the Most High, but they may not have
the Most High. Okay. It may be multiple people.
Oh yeah, multiple guys.
What is it? Deities? Whoever. Is that what it is?
Or whoever that they feel.
But I think that's sweet though. You were connecting to me when I had Carmen.
Yeah.
You're sweet. Meanwhile, you just came in there. Y'all, Joe came into the room. I don't even remember him coming into the room, but I literally was like, please get my husband because I'm throwing up. And then I don't remember really anything besides Carmen getting put on my chest. Well, Carmen coming out. No, me saying that it smelled like burnt popcorn, but that was my flesh.
Yeah, it smelled like burnt popcorn.
I was like, is somebody cooking popcorn in here?
No, they're just your flesh, your skin is cooking.
Yeah. And then you saying that she was out. That was a blur. And then Carmen got put on my chest because I wanted to do skin to skin. And then they were like, nope, get her out of here. We can't do that.
No, because Dr. Santana, because the nurses, there was moving too much while there was.
Oh.
That's the only reason why he told them, because the nurse kept on moving, trying to keep on moving Carmen. I was like, just sit the baby on her chest. But the nurse just felt like she wanted to keep moving it.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah, so like every time she moved, it moved your body. So while they doing, you can't move while they're doing surgery, sewing you back up or whatever. So that's why Dr. C was like, get out of here, get out of here.
She said that.
Yeah,
and then Joe was like, you good? All right, I'm out. And I don't remember anything after that.
My baby was here.
When Joe said he was out, the anesthesiologist was like, oh my God, because y'all know my family is if it's one of us, you're going to see all of us. And my dad was in with the C-section when I had Leah, and I had the same anesthesiologist. And he was like, your dad is such a hoot. I could go with him and go get a beer and yada, yada, yada. And as soon as he said that, I said, oh yeah, he's really good. And I blacked out. I don't remember nothing until I got into the recovery room with Joe, and Joe was like, your mom and everybody is wanting to see the baby. Like, I don't even know how long I was back there from the time you left to the time I went to the recovery room. Like, I was just out. And I don't even remember nursing Carmen. I
remember when they brought Carmen back though, when they was doing it, and it was just me and Carmen. I never forget that little time we had. And she was just like, I was holding her. And I was like, man.
And I wasn't even there for that, so I don't even know what your first moment as a dad.
Me and Carmen, after she took a bath, the nurse was like, all right, I'm going to give y'all some time and let you soak everything in. And I was like, appreciate it. Just get ham in bed, and I was just sitting there in a dark room, because I already tell you how I felt. But
Joe didn't want no lights on Carmen.
Yeah, so
the warmer lights, my baby in there in an ice box.
So I was just holding. I was like, tell me the secrets of the universe.
So you was in there talking dumb stuff to my child. Looking for some milk.
Tell me the secrets of the universe. How was it? How was your trip here? How was it?
You know what? That is, my mom says that's the closest to death you ever come as a woman, is having a baby. But I wonder, like, how does it feel for a baby to enter? How does that feel? Random.
I know, that's what I said. When I had Carmen, because she was looking dead at me.
In Rachel's place said, really, Joe? Yes. A whole mess. It's going to come up in a second.
Oh. When I was looking at her, it looked like she was trying to tell me, but she was just speaking
nothing. She wasn't speaking nothing.
Exactly. And I was like, man, I wonder what she's saying. What is she looking at me like, man, what is holding me right now?
But how did you? So when you held Carmen for the first time,
I was crazy nervous.
You were?
You already know how I won't hold nobody else.
Oh yeah. Oh, Joe had
I would not hold nobody else's child.
Y'all. We had to go through a parenting class. Like I told Joe, I was like, we're not, because you're not gonna kill my child by dropping her. We're going to a class. So we went to that class was 8 hours long on how to be a parent. Like how to care for a baby and all that stuff. How to care for your wife or your significant other while she's pregnant. Like, and it was just us and a lesbian couple. And I went to school. I went to high school with the girl that was pregnant.
Yeah.
So it was crazy because we knew each other. She graduated 2 years after me, but we the only 4 in there holding it down.
First, I was like, "Why is you here?" But
yeah. So we had.
Maybe she was there for support. Maybe she was,
No, that was her wife.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, maybe
And so it was new for both of us.
It was just weird. It just threw me off guard.
Yeah, it threw both of us off guard because I wasn't expecting it to just be 2 couples. One, I was expecting it to be a room full because I thought nobody knew. I thought everybody knew how to care for a baby. Clearly. But Joe would never hold anybody else's child. He'd be like, let me just look at him.
I didn't want that responsibility.
No, he wouldn't touch him at all. And then Leah went through a big sister class because clearly she didn't know how to be a big sister. But yeah, so when you held Carmen so when they took Carmen out the room, did they wheel her out the room or did you walk her?
No, I was already in the room. Well,
so my baby was by herself with the nurse?
No, the nurse, I was down. They had when they was cleaning her up and stuff. I was outside. Oh. And then she was wheeling her in. I just went in the room and she brought her in.
Oh, okay. So, but you were with her the whole time. Oh, wow. Okay.
So when she had finished wrapping her up, she was like, that's when she was like, I'll give y'all some time. And then that's when I had dimmed the lights. It was only just 2 lights on the bed. Mm-hmm. And then it was just me and Carmen. And I was just like, what are the secrets of the universe? Like, what have you experienced? 9 months. Like, what was you thinking in those 9 months?
So you didn't speak life into our child. You just asking her what's the secrets.
I was asking all type of questions. I need to know.
She wasn't gonna talk back. What were you gonna do? What if she did talk back?
Then I'd be like, if she would have talked back, and told me, I was like, it been a wrap. It would have been a wrap.
You're so stupid. I cannot. But I think like with this next pregnancy, whenever we have it, I'm interested to see how different it will be with me and you. Like how different our connection would be. Because it was so much of a hustle and bustle. We didn't have that time to connect.
Right.
So I'm curious. I wonder if our connection will be more spiritually inclined. What you think?
We'll see. All right, Rachel.
Thank you, Rachel, for being here. We're about to head off too because it's almost 11 o'clock.
About to watch some P-Valley. If y'all haven't watched P-Valley, man, it's on Stars.
Not sponsored, but Joe.
Not sponsored, but it's
series cheated on me because
it's actually pretty good. I thought it was gonna be whack. P-Valley just about a bunch of strippers.
But I haven't even watched it past the first episode because somebody watched it without me.
The lady who wrote it, and I think it's 2 ladies who wrote and directed it, but they did a pretty good job. I can't wait for season 2.
So you about to watch the episodes with me tonight because clearly
we can watch some more. Well, we probably gonna watch all of them because once you start getting into it, you're gonna want to watch all of them.
I can't with you. But yeah, I think that's it. I think we answered all of the questions that everybody had. We'll be doing this next month on the 10th. So the 10th of October, because that's the second Saturday, the 10th of October at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll be doing this again. So we'll probably be doing this every month. Jess Timber is still going on, which if you don't know what Jess Timber is, that is where I post a video every single day in September. And I haven't uploaded tomorrow's video, but it will be up sometime tomorrow. So just make sure you have your bell notification on. And now that I have my community tab, you guys can ask me questions when I post the next one. But that is going to be it for this edition of Weekend with the Wells. Oh, I thought you was about to end it. And so, yeah, y'all, thank y'all so much for being here. I really, really appreciate it. If you like this video, make sure you give it a
thumbs up.
And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. What does that say? What does the last one say?
Have a great evening. Thanks
okay.
for sharing.
And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on that bell notification so you never what, babe? Miss an upload. And until next time, you guys, we will see you on the next one. Talk to you soon. You can do it with me? Do it! Bye! Bye, you guys. Have a great night. You gotta push the button, babe.
Oh. What's that,
can't. Yes. No. Hit the end button, crazy. Bye, y'all.